Hello, today I want to show you a couple of games in the Heavy Tank number 6, the Japanese premium heavy tank coming out in patch 9.9 shortly. And well, I suppose the main thing to get from this is that, as you can see, it's a Tiger tank, but well, it's down at tier 6. So this is very much kind of the historical Tiger tank. It's what the Tiger tank should be. And well, I actually kind of enjoy it. It's, compared to the other tier 6 heavy tanks, it's got some of the best armour, but as you can see it's flat, but 100mm of flat armour on the turret front and the hull front is actually pretty good, and 80mm on the side and the rear make this very good for side scraping or angling your armour. Its mobility is also actually pretty fine, top speed 40km an hour, and it will get close to that. But the traverse speed is a bit weak with 26 on the hull and 20 on the turret. The gun on the Heavy Tank number 6 is, well, it's kind of one of the strengths of the tank and one of the weaknesses of the tank. The big downside, and probably the only real weakness of this tank, is that it only gets 132mm of penetration, which makes this, well, the worst equal penetrating gun on a tier 6 heavy tank, and it can struggle to penetrate itself. In fact, see, its minimum penetration roll is 99, and 100mm frontal armour means that, given, perfect firing conditions, the armour's flat, you're at close range, there is still a chance that you could fail to penetrate the front armour of this tank, which actually tempts me a lot because it's really easy to angle, and at this angle the Tiger basically has no chance of penetrating its own armour. But the gun's also good, it's got a decent rate of fire. The damage, well, I suppose it's not really decent. 8.57 rate of fire is good for its tier, but not the best. The damage is good, but not the best. The accuracy is good, but not the best. Aiming time is, I think 2.3 is the best equal with the other heavy tanks at this tier. So other than the penetration, this is kind of a gun that's on the better side of average in every other respect. So that's kind of what the Heavy Tank number 6, or the Japanese Tiger, it is. It's got good armour, decent mobility, decent gun, and it's kind of just an all-round alright tank. Or at least I expect it to be, because of course on the test server, everybody is firing APCR but me, which means that the armour's not really worth much, but I'm expecting even flat 100mm of armour will be pretty good against regular AP shots. Anyway, I'll show you the games. This first one I decided to jump you all straight into the action. Basically, I'm just sitting here trying to side scrape against these heavy tanks. So you managed to, bounce one shot there, which I'm guessing was AP, and then one went straight through. I'm guessing that one was APCR. And the guns also, see here there's a KV-2 which has pretty thin armour. First shot goes a bit off but bounces, but when you do manage to get a shot in, 220 odd damage is actually pretty good for this tier. I also didn't mention that the Heavy Tank number 6, I keep wanting to call it the Japanese Tiger, it's actually got one of the best hit point pulls at this tier for a heavy tank. That shot of mine was never going to penetrate, but I was giving the enemy tank pretty flat armour, so it managed to go through. Here comes another heavy tank. Well, it bounces off me, and I would have bounced if I did take the shot, but I didn't. I was expecting that other guy to come around the corner, but nope. Focusing back on this first one. And, well, you see my shot didn't go through, despite the fact that the armour was pretty flat there. Tracks probably slowed it down a bit, and the thickness of the armour was enough for that. That second shot gave me flat armour and it went through. And I was aiming for the polar here, but turret reverse couldn't keep up with it. And well, our team lost that one, but you kind of got to see a bit of the armour of the Heavy Tank number 6 in that battle. And also the difficulty it can have at penetrating targets. This next replay, I'm going to lose again. We lost that last game, we're going to lose this one. But it's just a bit more of a typical game. You can see here the mobility, it's not great, but it's enough for a heavy tank at this tier. And even in, you know, tier 8 games, it doesn't get left behind. Just having a look at the airplanes fly over. And, well, one thing I didn't mention is the heavy tank number 6, it actually gets pretty good gun depression. I don't know what the figure is, but going up and over this ridgeline, it's actually good enough kind of thing. So anyway, our team's heavy tanks, they basically, well, all but one of us came up to this ridge to kind of fight it out with the enemy, and fortunately, most of the, well, maybe not fortunately, but enemy heavy tanks came up here as well. Side turret of a heavy tank number 6, it's easy enough to go through. I pull back and manage to dodge a shot. And it moves so my shot misses the cupola. But luckily the enemy are missing me as well. Well, not that time, that one went into my cupola. But you can see here the gun depression's kind of sufficient for this kind of work. And I'm not actually exposing much of my tank at all to get these shots off. I mean, the main thing we're exposing is the cupola. Poke out a bit more to try and get a hull shot, but RNG wasn't with me. And I'm not going to hang out there for another one. Managed to bounce a shot. It looked off the side of my turret there. But what have you. Okay, pushing over, looking for shots, and I take 2 hits on the side. And managed to bounce a 3rd shot from my left. And one of them was from that heavy tank over there, and I also took a shot from the Dicker Max. And my armor's not going to be thick enough to withstand the shots from a Dicker Max. But I was kind of being a bit stupid here. I kept just poking over. I should have pulled back because that Dicker Max is probably sitting around the base of the hill there. So I should have pulled over to my left out of its render distance. But I wasn't inclined to. I'm looking for shots in this heavy tank, and well, it's all regardless because I got killed. Anyway, that is kind of the heavy tank heavy tank number 6, the Japanese premium. Yeah, I actually do like this tank. I think it will be really good on the regular server, just because, well, at tier 6, the penetration of the gun's not going to be that bad. Well, it's bad, but you'll be able to deal with tier 4 and tier 5 tanks no problems, and as long as you're not fighting tier 6 heavies, you also won't have any issues. It's just that tier 7 or tier 8 games that penetration is going to become really painful. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time.